Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Bar Shifts and Bullshit. I'm Lily Lavender, we have Sugar Tits, and as always, the amazing Jaybird.
Oh shit.
So we're going to be talking about setting the mood.
So we're going to talk about
Vibes.
we're going to talk about vibes, how different things can set the mood of your establishment. We've all worked in different bars and different locations, and we know what it's like to be in a bad environment versus a good environment, and what can make the difference. Lily Lavender and I are both big fans of the right music, setting a really good tone for the establishment that you might be working in. But other things can play a factor as well, and we've discussed this at length.
Definitely.
We've kind of got to the situation where music, different kinds of food, enlightened food, and the temperature itself in the room can like make or break your environment.
Like if it's a bad song or a slow song or a song that not many people can relate to that's playing in the background, it's supposed to be background music, you'll get a lot of customers that just want to get up and leave because they're looking to have fun, they're looking to relax and enjoy their outing completely.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like the sound or the availability in the room, like I want to be able to hear music, but I still want to be able to have a conversation. Like I still want you to be able to hear what I got to say and not have to yell at you to get a conversation out of it.
Yeah, because a lot of times we already have to yell at each other because the talking in the room is loud amongst all the customers anyways. So
Right.
when you're trying to talk even louder over music, it's even worse.
Yeah. So I think the best vibe that I've come across, and it's usually with like my dates or like whoever I'm hanging out with. If I can have a cool conversation with you, and then halfway through the night you're starting to sing the song while listening to me, I feel like that's the right radius
That
for
is.
like sound distribution.
Nothing makes me feel better than seeing and listening to my customers have a good experience by starting to sing a song that they hear playing. Even just the customers around at the other tables, like it's a lot of fun to listen to them just singing to the music.
Well, and there's some of those songs that just like that always cuts in. You know, no matter what, somebody can be in a deep conversation every time, and then as soon as they hear like specific lyrics, it automatically like kicks in. They forget what they're talking about, and they just like zone in on the song.
Yeah.
For my mom, it was always The Joker by Steve Miller Band.
Oh man.
Like she knows every single word to it, and as soon as like the chorus comes in, she like always stops what she's doing, just like and to finish the conversation. And it's the funniest things. And actually, one of my earliest memories of my mom is that's like no matter how like if that song pops up, she'll just start singing it. Like
Yeah. I know another song that is popular amongst customers is Hotel California.
Yes,
And then what's the other one? What I Got by Sublime.
Paradise City.
Like those are all songs that I start
Are we
seeing
old?
people singing. I feel well. I know I'm old. I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about.
Dude, I was just everything I've named off was like in the early '90s or something like '80s. But those are songs that like, and like to go even further back, like the Temptations. I'll listen to the Temptations or Marvin Gaye or freaking Sam Cooke. Some of those
Yeah.
old school songs, man, just have a different beat to them.
Because a lot of times it is an upbeat type of music, and then the words are just very positive. So you just combine the two with customers from around the area, and everybody's happier. And then, did you know that the type of music that's being played can set the tone for what your customer's ordering?
I did not know that.
So it says there's a statistic out there that states that upbeat music will make people want to order desserts. But what type of music it is, well, that makes it depend on the type of music. If they order a sweet dessert or a bitter dessert,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's pretty interesting. Well, and then the temperature of the room can influence your demographic as well. Now, there was a study done back in the day on court cases. Did you know that in the courtroom they'll adjust the temperature either higher or lower to influence or even rush the speed of your decisions on a jury? So if they want a faster decision, like if they say they got a huge docket of people that they got to like rush through a bunch of decisions, they'll turn it up to or turn it down to like 65 to 63 degrees, make it cold in there, so you're rushing for more decisions. But if they want you to think longer periods of time, and then and pace yourself and really evaluate the evidence in front of you, they'll raise the temperature upwards of 68 to 72 degrees.
Yeah, it's very true. So, funny fact, when I was in high school in the 90s, we had an ROP class that we could take after school, and one of them was to shadow at the courthouse to see if anybody would be interested in, working at the courthouse.
Right.
So we got to sit in courtrooms and watch all of that go down, and then they always told us to bring a jacket because it can get really, really cold. But we're like, it's not something everybody would want to do. It's so boring.
I hate going to court, man. And I've been there a few more times than I can count.
There's nothing fun about it.
No.
There's no music. There's no food. There's no happy people.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No, everybody's there for a reason, and it's usually not a good one. My hat's off to you guys in law firms, man.
Yeah.
Y'all got different talent that I can't really take on right now. To be honest with you, and it's always dreary in there. The walls are always beige or white or boring. Yeah, it's very gloomy in there. Nobody wants to be in court. But
Sorry.
it's all right.
But then it's even the same for casinos. Casinos, it can be extremely cold. The music sucks.
Yeah, but they want it. So I've actually looked into it a little bit more. So yeah, you have all the flashing lights and all the stuff to entice you into playing the game. But they take all the clocks and stuff out, so you can never keep track of time. Obviously, you have it on your phone, but you've played games and stuff, and you've been trapped in a situation where you don't even look at your phone. And most people, if they're trapped in a game and can't acknowledge that, time is actually going by, you'll go in there in the mix of daylight and then leave at 1 o'clock in the morning. And people do that all the time.
Yeah, they do.
But that's another reason why most of them don't have windows, so you can't really judge your budget of the day. Or the windows are so far away that you can't really see daylight versus nighttime.
Yep.
And they do that for a reason. So you accidentally spend more time on the games than you would originally predict. So it's real. You can take all this to a very psychological downturn.
Yeah.
You can really manipulate the system to where your demographic just stays. So,
That's true.
So just playing the system just like anything else.
So then they also say that the temperature of the room can determine what type of service you want to give in that restaurant setting or brewery or the bar. So they say that if it's warmer climates, they're trying to turn and burn tables and people
So
as fast as possible.
You're trying to rush people out.
Yes, because you're working on volume, so you want people in and out.
That's funny. That's funny, and I'll tell you why. So McDonald's, when they first opened, right, it was on the mindset that it was going to be fast food, fast service, turn around and eat, right? So they even went as far as the colors. Red versus yellow, red on yellow is supposed to be so repulsive that it gives you angst to leave. So, obviously you want food there, but nobody feels the desire to stay at McDonald's. That's why their drive-thru done so well back, as soon as they started. They were one of the first that started drive-thru, ordering.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, all the way to and I learned this in a graphic designs course, that, you can manipulate colors to where it seems repulsive to where people don't want to stay. And that was the whole idea. They wanted to do high turnover. They wanted to sell you something, in under 5 minutes or less, and then send you on your way.
Well, then there's that one for fine dining. They say the perfect temperature for fine dining is anywhere between 72 and 74 degrees. Because it's just right. Nobody's cold. And the more they eat, they're occupied.
So you kind of set the tone and set your situation. Do you want to keep your clientele at all times or for longer periods of time, or do you want to turn and burn?
Exactly.
Yeah, so those are a lot of good points on how to adjust your situation in your own establishment. Me personally, if I own a bar or a club, I want to set the environment or set the mood to where people want to stay long periods of time.
I know. See, I'm the same mindset. I'd rather have people staying for long periods of time. But, it could be different. Like servers, for instance, the more tables they have, the more money they make. So.
Well, and you make more money off of how many tables you flip. Yeah, so the more demographic you get, how does that make your adjustments? Do you rather have people sit and linger and rack up the bill, or would you rather have more and more tables coming in?
More and more tables.
Yeah?
Yeah. But then you have to deal with having to run around a lot because now you're trying to get rid of them quickly. So you're trying to get their food out as fast as possible, bring them their ticket, make sure their drinks are refilled, and then boom, setting the table for the next customer. It's a lot of work.
Well, and I've served too, and honestly, so it's weird.
I hate serving.
If I'm at the bar, I want you to sit and linger because the longer you're there, the better conversations I can have with you. But if I'm turning and burning on serving, time flies. Time just goes completely different.
It does.
Because the faster I turn tables, the more money I make. But the faster time just goes because I'm constantly moving. I'm constantly busting tables.
Well, that's why I like bartending so much, because what I learned from serving, how to turn and burn people quick, I've learned that at the bar, and I've been able to put that into how I deal with customers at the bar. So I can get rid of them as fast as possible, but then I can pick and choose which ones I want to stay longer.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, like if you can have a good conversation and keep them trapped in there, and usually you can kind of pick your demographic on who's going to stay and who doesn't too.
Oh, yeah.
So turning and burning on the bar is definitely different because you can kind of pick and choose who you want to stay and who you want to leave.
I like that one-on-one customer interaction better at a bar than I do with serving, because I never know if I'm going to have repeat customers for serving, but I know I'm going to have repeat customers for the bar top. So that's why I like to build that foundation and the relationship with my customers at the bar. So I usually cater to them at the bar like I would serving.
Yeah. Well, and I think for me, it's harder to build a rapport with people at tables.
It is.
Especially because the place where I work, you have a skit. You have a way you're supposed to present yourself at tables. At a bar, it's almost anything goes. Like, you have to be presentable, you have to watch what you say, but as soon as you get that leeway into a conversation where you can kind of say whatever you want, then those doors open a lot more on the bar top than they do on tables. Because on tables, there's a beginning, in the middle, and an end. Like, you start off with your introduction, you make sure everything's adequate throughout the service, or you do things to the best of your ability, and then you leave. Which at the bar, so many different things that take place. You're either ordering food, making drinks, having conversations, and enjoying and making a rapport and enjoying things. And people acknowledge how you work at a bar too.
Yes.
So your movements, how you talk to one person versus another one, or in your case, how you get everybody included in the conversation is a different way to play the game.
I always get them all talking together. So, like, we've established that the music and the temperature can determine what type of environment we're going to work in. So for fine dining, it's the temperature 72 to 74. For casual dining, did you know it's 68 degrees?
I can see that.
68 degrees for casual dining, because you don't know whether they're going to stay, whether you want them to stay or go. So you're leaving it into the hands of them based off the temperature in the room.
Well, and the lighting in the room makes a difference.
Definitely the lighting in the room.
So we'll have people stay like hours past closing. Nothing drives me more crazy, especially because if we close the bar down at closing and somebody still has a table, we have to wait until that table leaves.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is turn the lights on, like crank them all the way up.
We do the same thing.
So people are like, oh shit, okay, it's time to go.
Oh, it's so bright in here.
I'm like, oh, I don't want to be seen like this. So they get overexposed. And I feel like that's a good tactic. But dim lighting also helps keep things casual and keeps people wanting to stay for longer periods of time. I think it gives more of a home feel. So like inevitably you're creating an environment where people want to live in. At your establishment.
That's exactly
That's how you
it.
keep people in longer.
So our establishment is more casual dining. But the thing is, the temperature doesn't fit the setting because it's so fucking hot at work.
For y'all's establishment, you can't really adjust the temperature like I can at mine.
No, we can't. And they've tried. Believe me, they've tried. But the moment those doors go up, that's it.
Well, and we live in a very humid area. Probably not as humid as other ones, but when it's hot, it's hot. And when it's hot, it weighs like an extra 20 pounds hot.
Yeah, it does, especially after eating and drinking. And those people that drink beer, like, it just weighs them down. They start sweating profusely, and then they just don't even want to be there. That's when they start changing the mood. Then they start getting aggressive or angst, you know.
Or irritable or angry or just miserable.
Yeah.
So honestly, if I were giving advice to like a consumer base and like in really, really hot weather, I would recommend everybody hates them. Well, not everybody hates them. That's not the right word, but that's not everybody's go-to. So if you're used to drinking beer, you drink beer. If you're used to drinking whiskey, you drink whiskey. But certain environments increases value in certain drinks. So for instance, if it's
Yeah.
hot outside, the best drinks to be drinking is
Frozen
like
drinks.
frozen drinks
Ciders.
or lighter cocktails
Uh-huh.
like Bahama Mamas and Sexes on the Beaches
Yeah.
or Gimlets. Gimlets are very like anything refreshing or something that takes fresh fruit to make.
Every time I get a customer that doesn't know what they want to drink, but they want it to feel like, this is what they need, I always go to a Gimlet.
I do too.
Or I'll go to like a bourbon smash or a vodka smash. They love it.
Anything with fresh ingredients that you have to
And
mix
it's
in.
light.
Yeah. So actually, it's funny you say that. I do Gimlets a lot, especially for somebody who's like, I don't want something very sweet. I want something very light and airy. I'll be like, all right, I got you. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
tequila or a gin Gimlet. Like
Yeah, and I'll go to my cucumber Gimlets.
Cucumber Gimlets.
Because they're very refreshing. Sometimes I'll throw in a basil or a mint, and they just love it.
Well, that's funny. So I had a buddy of mine at work make fun of my mules the other day. He didn't make fun of them. He just like looked at me funny because I had mint in mine. Like not a lot, but I'll put like 2 drinks in
Yeah,
mine.
no, that's good.
And it's funny because he's always the one. He'll like look at my tie or he'll look at my sleeves and stuff, and he'd be like, "Dude, he's like, you gonna roll your sleeves down? You gonna your tie's too long?" We give each other hell all the time. Well, and he like looked at my cocktail. He's like, "Do you add mint to your mule?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I always do that." And he was like, "Yeah." And he started thinking about it. And he was like, I was like, "Man," I was like, "Is there something wrong with it?" He's like, "No, he's just never really thought about it." He said, "That sounds very refreshing. Just that one ingredient can change the whole integrity of the
Yes,
cocktail."
it can. And you can switch between basil or mint. They're interchangeable.
Yeah, I do like basil in a lot of cocktails. It does add something different. I don't have it, but it does make a difference.
So based off of this article that I found, for a fine dining setting, it should be classical or jazz music. For casual dining, it should be pop, rock, or top 40 hits. And then for quick service, it's faster paced music.
Fast for quick service, big turn. I can see that.
Yeah.
Dive bars, like get in, get out,
Yeah.
or especially like club music. Let's get as much cocktails, go have fun, come back and get more cocktails.
That's
The
exactly
faster you
it.
drink it, the more fun you have. So that's a good way to look at all this stuff. Which I kind of like the whole jazz and blues setting.
I do too.
Like, I like chill.
But I haven't found that at a fine dining setting here yet.
Not in fine dining, like even our establishment.
We had
They
it a
don't
lot
have
in
it.
California, but
It's hard to find that kind of demographic here, though.
Yeah.
I like it. I enjoy it, but just find somebody that kind of enjoys it because that's like Marcus King. Love his stuff. Can't find that kind of value in music. I think we heard it first time I heard it. We were at a place over in Bryson City.
that's right. I remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then we were just both stuck on it.
It was awesome.
So,
But we do got to wrap this up right now.
all right, guys, thank you so much for listening in. Hopefully you'll turn in next week. Love you guys. Until next time.